Every second, every decision. Do you think you're in control? Think again. What if the choices you believe are yours are actually not? What if they're just echoes of unseen forces lurking deep within your psyche? Consider this. Your deepest beliefs, your cherished acts of free will, might just be illusions, intricately woven into the fabric of your brain by forces you can't see or control. Enter Carl Jung, the man who dared to dive deep into the human psyche, uncovering unsettling truths. He proposed a radical idea. Our so-called free will might be nothing more than a puppet show, with our subconscious pulling the strings. So, are we the authors of our destiny? Or are we just characters acting out a script written by the hidden depths of our own minds? Free will, the very pillar of our identity, our choices, our sense of control. But is it merely a myth? Psychology and philosophy have long debated this, and now, Carl Jung's insights bring us to the brink of a psychological revolution. What if the freedom to choose isn't as free as we think? Jung's exploration into the depths of the human mind suggests that much of what we believe to be conscious decisions are, in fact, influenced by the unseen forces of our unconscious. This isn't just a theory, it's a challenge to the very essence of human autonomy. As we peel back the layers of our conscious mind, what we find beneath might not just surprise us, it might even disturb our foundational beliefs. Jung's perspective suggests that our thoughts, our desires, even our day-to-day choices might be driven by past experiences, repressed emotions, and complex psychological structures that we barely understand. Imagine living in a world where your decisions are not entirely your own, a world where the subconscious mind holds more sway over your actions than your conscious will. This is not science fiction. This is the reality Jung invites us to consider. Who was Carl Jung? Born in Switzerland in 1875, Jung became one of the founding fathers of modern psychology. His work not only challenged, but also expanded the theories of his one-time mentor, Sigmund Freud. Jung introduced concepts such as the collective unconscious and the archetypes, fundamentally altering how we understand the human mind. Jung's ideas about the unconscious were revolutionary. He believed that beneath our personal experiences lies a deeper, collective layer of unconscious that we share with all humanity. This collective unconscious is populated by archetypes, universal, mythic characters that reside within all of us. According to Jung, these archetypes shape not only our behaviors, but also our individual experiences and our cultural practices. His credentials are not just based on his theories, but also on his profound influence on psychiatry, literature, religion, and even art. The reach of his ideas extends beyond the confines of psychology into nearly every aspect of human thought and culture. Jung's work invites us to see beyond the surface of our minds and to question the very nature of our supposed autonomy. Understanding Jung is key to understanding his perspective on free will. His deep dive into the unconscious mind reveals a world where our choices may be as much a product of our shared human heritage as they are our own deliberate decisions. Let's delve into one of Jung's core theories, the structure of the human psyche, particularly focusing on how it influences our notion of free will. Jung divided the psyche into three main parts: the ego, the personal unconscious, and the collective unconscious. The ego represents our conscious mind. It's the part of our psyche that we're aware of, the part that makes decisions and interacts with the external world. But according to Jung, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Below the surface lies the personal unconscious, a repository of forgotten experiences, repressed emotions, and suppressed memories. It's in this layer that many of our unconscious decisions are made, decisions that bubble up to our conscious mind, often without our awareness. But deeper still is the collective unconscious, a more mysterious and powerful aspect of our psyche. Unlike the personal unconscious, which is developed through individual experiences, the collective unconscious is inherited. It consists of archetypes, universal symbols, and patterns of behavior that are shared across humanity. These archetypes influence our thoughts, behaviors, and even our dreams, connecting us to our ancestors and the most primal parts of our nature. Jung's exploration into these layers reveals that much of what we consider our free will might actually be influenced by these unseen forces. Our choices, our reactions, and even our personal preferences might not be as freely chosen as we believe. They are instead directed by a symphony of subconscious factors, echoing through the depths of the collective and personal unconscious. As we grapple with the impact of the unconscious on our decisions, it's essential to delve into one of Jung's most profound insights: the role of the unconscious in shaping our perceived free will. Jung argued that the unconscious doesn't just passively store information, but actively influences our conscious thoughts and behaviors through complex psychological mechanisms. This influence can manifest in several ways. For instance, through what Jung called complexes. These are clusters of unconscious psychological elements that are emotionally charged and repressed. They can suddenly emerge into consciousness under certain triggers, influencing our behavior in ways we might not consciously approve or even understand. Furthermore, Jung introduced the concept of projection. This mechanism leads us to see our own unconscious traits in others, rather than recognizing them within ourselves. This not only shapes our relationships and interactions, but also our personal and collective judgments, often bypassing our conscious control and questioning the very essence of free choice. Another significant unconscious influence comes from what Jung termed synchronicities. These are meaningful coincidences that occur in our lives, which Jung suggested might reveal the workings of the unconscious aligning events in a seemingly purposeful way. While skeptics might dismiss synchronicities as mere chance, Jung believed they might be evidence of the unconscious directing our life paths, further complicating the notion of free will. Through these dynamics, Jung paints a picture of a psyche that is not a mere servant to conscious will, but a powerful director of human behavior, often operating beyond the reach of our conscious intentions. This insight shakes the foundation of how we perceive autonomy and control over our lives. Exploring further into Jung's psychological landscape, let's examine the implications of his theories on archetypes and their powerful influence on human behavior. Archetypes, as Jung described, are primal, universal symbols and images that reside within the collective unconscious. They are not learned but inherited, forming the framework upon which individual psyches are built. These archetypes manifest in various forms, such as the mother, the hero, the shadow, the wise old man, or the child, influencing our behavior and interactions without our conscious awareness. For instance, the hero archetype drives us to overcome obstacles and strive for success, while the shadow contains qualities we deny in ourselves but might easily recognize in others. Jung's concept of archetypes suggests that our choices may be pre-shaped by these timeless symbols, guiding our actions and reactions through patterns laid down long before we were born. This challenges the traditional view of free will by proposing that our choices are influenced by ancient, enduring aspects of human experience that operate beyond our individual control. These archetypical influences can be seen in recurring themes across literature, art, mythology, and dreams, reflecting universal narratives that resonate with collective human experiences. By understanding these patterns, we can begin to see how our personal decisions might be part of a much larger, interconnected tapestry, woven from the threads of shared human heritage. Jung's insights into archetypes reveal a profound connection between individual psyche and collective history, suggesting that our sense of autonomy might be more a dance with destiny than a solo act of will. Jung's exploration of the psyche brings us to another captivating concept: synchronicity. He described synchronicity as the simultaneous occurrence of events that appear significantly related but do not have a discernible causal connection. This phenomenon challenges our conventional understanding of cause and effect and suggests a more complex interplay between our inner and outer worlds. Consider this scenario. You've been thinking about an old friend you haven't spoken to in years, and suddenly they call you out of the blue. According to Jung, this isn't just coincidence or luck. It's an example of synchronicity. Such events hint at an underlying order or meaning in the universe that connects our personal thoughts and the external environment in a meaningful way. Jung believed that synchronicity serves as a bridge between the conscious and unconscious parts of our mind, often revealing itself during times of psychological imbalance or when significant changes are occurring in our lives. It forces us to question whether our lives are governed solely by random events, or if there is some deeper, possibly preordained pattern at play. These synchronistic events can be seen as calls to attention, urging us to explore deeper truths about ourselves and our relationships with the world. They challenge the idea that we are the sole architects of our destiny and suggest that the universe might have a more active role in shaping our journey than we previously thought. By acknowledging the potential reality of synchronicity, we are invited to consider a worldview where free will interacts with a dynamic, interconnected universe, where our conscious choices and unconscious insights are part of a larger, more mysterious narrative. As we consider the profound implications of Jung's theories, it becomes clear that his views on free will challenge our most fundamental assumptions about personal autonomy and responsibility. If our decisions are influenced by unconscious factors, including the collective unconscious and archetypes, what does this say about our ability to choose freely? Jung's insights suggest that, while we may believe ourselves to be in full control of our choices, in reality, we are often guided by deeper, unseen forces that have been at work long before we were even aware of them. This raises significant ethical and philosophical questions about responsibility. If our actions are dictated by unconscious influences, can we truly be held accountable for them in the same way? This perspective does not necessarily negate the concept of free will, but complicates it. Jung invites us to view free will not as an absolute, unchanging state, but as a spectrum. On one end, there are choices heavily influenced by our unconscious impulses and archetypal patterns. On the other, decisions made with greater self-awareness and reflection, potentially freer from these underlying influences. Understanding the complex interplay between our conscious intentions and the unconscious mind enriches our approach to psychology, ethics, and the law. It suggests that achieving true personal autonomy is a process of continuous self-exploration and understanding, striving to integrate the disparate parts of our psyche. Jung's approach offers a pathway to greater personal growth and understanding. By confronting and integrating these unconscious influences, we can come closer to achieving a state of wholeness where our decisions are more reflective of our true selves rather than mere reactions to unconscious drives.